afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. And it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks to my brother Remy for this wonderful um, conference. So I've been asked to speak on how to get the best out of your staff, and I have 7 tips, for you. Um, the first one is hire rights, and I think the previous conversation also went in that direction. Hire rights. Hiring the right people is more expensive than hiring mediocre, but the cost of hiring right is cheaper than the cost of hiring mediocre. Um, Good people will give you 7 times more productivity than average people. When it comes to resources, when it comes to recruitment, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. If you offer peanuts, you will get monkeys. So the starting point is you need to hire right. You need to hire right. All right. You cannot be mediocre when it comes to the people that you hire. And sometimes people think that recruitment is just as easy as asking people a bunch of questions, and then, connecting, you know, with your goals. There's a reason why recruitment is an area of expertise in HR. So make sure that when you're trying to hire, you pay a lot of attention, because that's where it really starts from. If you get it wrong with hiring, then you'll be managing crises along the value chain. Number 2 is take care of your staff. Take care of your staff. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. There are 2 things that employees bring to the workplace when it comes to productivity. 2 factors that helps an employee to deliver results. The first one is competence. The second one is commitment. Usually, it's easy to assess competence during the interview. The idea of competency assessment is that if someone has done something in the past, they can replicate it in the future. So you can ask questions that helps you to determine whether someone has the skill to do a job or not. The second factor that an employee brings to the workplace is what is called commitment. So an employee brings competence and commitment to the workplace. While it is easy to assess competence, it's usually difficult to assess commitment. And it is commitment that helps to unlock the fullness of competence. Competence says someone can do the job. Commitment says the person is willing to do the job. Competence says somebody can do a great job. Commitment says the person is willing to do a great job. All right, so it is commitment that unlocks competence. Now, as an employer, you cannot demand commitment from people. You can only earn it. And the language that helps you to earn commitment is care. You must show that you care. Without commitment, people will do the minimum. Without commitment, people will show up at work and practice what is called presentism. In other words, they're at work, you can see their face, but they're not getting as much done. All right. So if you want to get the best out of your people, you must take care of your staff. You can't be a business owner, you're traveling to Dubai on vacation, yet you are owing your staff salary. You cannot be an employee several salary, but you're buying a house in Banana Island. Doesn't just make sense. So them as a critical stakeholder in your organization. The only way to earn commitment, like I say, is for you to show that you care. Care about what your employees care about, and your employees will care about what you care about. If you take care of your employees will take care of your customers, and your customers will take care of your business. All right? Don't be fascinated, or don't be absorbed, or don't be obsessed with, I want to take care of our customers. We're doing great things for our customers, and you are not taking care of your employees. If you take care of your employees will take care of your customers. Number 3, give them the right environments. Give them the right environments.
Sorry, On your mic.
All right. Number three is given the right environment. Now, according to research, there are three drivers of productivity in the workplace. The first one is culture, the second one is technology, and the last one is environment. Environment. Now, there are two types of environments. There is the physical environment, there's also the psychological environment. See, there is a reason why Google invests a lot in its workplace. There's a reason why a lot of people want to work for Google because they see pictures of the workplace. But there's a reason why Google is investing in a conducive workplace for its employees, because a conducive environment also inspires productivity. You know that if a place is not well kept, your place is not properly done, you know that it can affect your ability to think. So make sure that you give your employees the right environment. All right. Again, that speaks to caring about your people. You cannot have a fantastic office, an AC office, and your employees who are working with you, are operating in a less conducive environment. That's talking about the physical environment. But there's also the psychological environment, right? A fish will thrive in water, but it will struggle in a different environment. Birds will thrive in the air, but will struggle in a cage. So environment, invest in environment that makes people to relax, invest in environment that makes people to be productive, invest in environment that makes people to be exceptional. Talking about the psychological environments, there are behaviors that inhibit productivity. Research has shown that there's a link between the impact of ignoring someone when they are talking to you and the ability to demonstrate intelligence. It's like I used to have a boss who was very, very cantankerous, very tough. When you enter into her office and she's either ignoring you or she's shouting at you. And for most people, when she starts to shout or she starts to ignore you, you will even forget the reason why you were there in the first instance. Now, you are very intelligent, you're very brilliant, but because somebody is ignoring you, somehow there is something in your head that stops working, because you are being ignored. Now, that talks about the psychological environment. You cannot be an employer and you treat your employees as though they are your children. You shout at them, you say all sorts of things, you abuse them emotionally, and you want to get the best out of them. That will never happen. Okay, so if you have an anger problem as an employer, you need to go and fix it. But in order for you to get the best out of your people, you need to create an environment that is conducive for them. Number four, you need to show them the bigger picture. Strong employees don't join an organization. Strong employees join a vision. You need to communicate the vision of the organizations to your employee. Something has to connect with their hearts. They need to know that what they are doing is not just for now. What they are doing is helping to build a great organization. The story is told of two men who were building, who were on a construction site. They asked the first guy, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm carrying bricks from one point to another point." They asked the other guy, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm helping to build a cathedral." One was able to link what he was doing to the objective the organization was trying to achieve. One was able to link what he was doing on a daily basis to the vision and the possibility and the bigger picture of the organization. Of course, he was able to get more done. He was able to exercise more resilience. He was able to deal with challenges on the job because he knows that there is a bigger picture. So you must learn to share the vision of your organization with the people that you are working with. Number five, set expectations and define success parameters. To get the best out of your people, you need to set expectations. Most people live by assumptions. You hire someone, you don't set expectation, and then you expect them to hit the ground running. Let me tell you something. According to the labor law, if you hire someone and you don't give them a job to do, it is still your responsibility to pay them salary. It's not for the employee to be looking for work to do. You, as an employer, must set expectation. While it sounds all nice, to hire people who can take initiatives, to hire people who can innovate, if you don't give them a sense of direction, if you don't tell them, this is what I'm looking for, they will destroy your organization. So, as an employer, you must be clear in your head. These are my expectations. How they get the expectation done can now be left to them. They can innovate in getting the expectation done. They can create initiatives. They can use their initiatives in getting the expectation done. But you must set an expectation for them. If you don't set a goal, they will not score a goal for you. Don't lead by expectation. In performance management, excellent performance rather is the difference between expectation and achievement. So if you don't set expectation, whatever they do then is excellent performance as far as they are concerned. So you need to be able to set expectation. Don't be ambiguous about your targets. This is what we are trying to do. And you can use simple methodology like the SMART methodology that says that your goals must be SMART, your goals must be specific, your goals must be measurable, your goals must be achievable, your goals must be realistic, and there must be a timeline. You can use that simple methodology to set expectation for your people. You can set expectation on a weekly basis, you can set expectation on a monthly basis, you can set expectation on a quarterly basis, but you have to meet with your staff and set expectation. That's usually what differentiates big organizations from small organizations. Number 6, and that's the second to my last point.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Tunde, please, can you just quickly recap number 4? Just, I think someone didn't
Number
get it
4
quite well. Yeah.
is show them the bigger picture, show them the vision so that they can connect with the overall objective of what you are trying to do. That's number 4.
All right, thank you.
All right. Number 6, equip them with tools. Equip them with tools. Don't set people up to fail. Don't set people up to fail. Equip them with tools. You cannot, people are working from home. And when they were working in the office, you give them a desktop. Now they're working from home. You still expect them to perform. You need to equip them with tools. Tools are like levers of performance. All right. Tools helps them to do the job faster, quicker. All right. So you need to equip your team members with tools. Internet tools. They need to do research. You need to provide the necessary resources for them to get the job done. There are 2 factors of performance. One is organizational capability. 2 is personal capability. Organizational capability, personal capability. Once you hire someone, you hire them because of their personal capability. For them to be able to perform, there must also be organizational capability. If there is no organizational capability, even if you hire a smart guy, that person may struggle. Now, that's the reason why sometimes we hire superstars from other organizations. When they come into our own organizations, they start becoming superstars because the organizational capabilities are not there. And sometimes when you don't have organizational capability, you have organizational barriers, right? So you must make sure that you are providing the right tools for your people to deliver performance. And my final point is that you must apply consequence management. That has to be consequence management, whether positive or negative. If performance is below expectation, there has to be consequence. If performance is above expectation, there has to be consequence in terms of reward. You must reward good performance, you must punish bad performance. Because if there is no consequence, then what's the point? How can you have an appraisal system and nothing happens after the appraisal system? Why would people continue to deliver when there is no consequence, whether they do well or they don't do well? All right. So you must have consequence management in order to get the best out of the people. When people are doing well and you don't recognize their performance, it is a discouragement to continued performance. When people are not doing well and you are not doing anything about it, it's a discouragement to those who are doing well. Those who are doing well will then be wondering, why should I continue to do well when the people who are not doing well are not getting punished? Nothing is happening to them. All right. So you must have consequences for performance. Don't take good performance for granted. When somebody is doing well, don't take it for granted. It must mean something for people to do well in the organization, and it must mean something for people not to do well in an organization. There are very simple, basic recognition initiatives you can deploy that shows your employee that good performance will be recognized and bad performance will be punished. That's how you get the best out of your people. With these 7 points of mine, I hope you have learned one or two things. Thank you so much once again for listening, and it's my pleasure to be here once again.
Thank you amazingly so much, Mr. Tunde. We really appreciate that. So please, we have just a couple of questions, two questions for you. One is when talking about the taking care of your staff and giving them the best, right? Someone is asking, Shegun Daniel is asking, um, if you can elaborate more on how to balance taking care of the staff welfare and staff discipline, because there's a point you might take care of them and they become so comfortable and they lose their discipline.
All right, thank you. Thank you
And
for
then
that
can I let
question.
me just ask the second question so you could just take
Okay.
two of them at the same time. Does anyone have any other question before I go with the one we have here? All right. So the second one is in the new work environment, how does an organization count? Sorry for that. Just a second. Okay, in the new work environment, what is wrong with the organization investing in the in the data usage because of the new work schedule that we have, right? People working outside the four walls of offices. When people are usually in the office, the organization gets to fuel and light and all the miscellaneous, all the things that are used in the office are being provided by the organization. Whereas when staff are working from home, the organization does not provide even the data that the staff are using. So is it wrong for someone to invest in this data, or would it give the staff ability to misuse the opportunity given to them?
All right, thank you. Let me start with the last one. In a remote working environment, trust is the currency of performance. Trust is the currency of performance. You have to trust your staff. If you don't trust the staff, you would have high blood pressure unnecessarily. So you have to trust that you've hired the right people. You have to trust that these people are stakeholders in your business and that these people are they are adults, right? You may want to check online the story of Netflix and its human resource, practice or policy. So you have to trust the staff. You're right. You know, people are working from home. Part of the tools you must provide is data, because if they were in the office, you will have provided data, right? That's the minimum you can actually do. Data is the minimum you can do, because without data, they may not be able to work. I'm assuming that their work requires them to log on to a laptop, send an email, and so on and so forth. All right. So there's really nothing wrong. So the problem in this part of the world is that most entrepreneurs are always thinking of how to maximize profits, and in the process, they do things that are counterproductive. Like I mentioned earlier, penny wise, pounds foolish. You know, you have to invest. You have to see your business as a growing concern, and you have to invest now. Part of your investment is letting your people know that this is a great organization to work for, right? So there's clearly nothing wrong in investing in such tools that enable your people to perform. Um, and there's nothing wrong. So there's no law against it. There's no law against it. And I don't want to hear anybody quoting the labor law, because the labor law focuses on the minimum. Labor law does not stop you from taking care of your staff or for investing in tools that help them to perform. So absolutely, there's nothing wrong. The first question says, how do you balance staff discipline with staff care? Really, whatever you do in the organization must be helping you to build a culture. Culture is what you reward, and culture is what you punish. Culture is what you reward, culture is what you punish. Okay? So when you do the things that you do, don't do them randomly so that it is not attributed to you as an individual. Let it be policized, right? Let it be a policy. Let it be part of the procedure. Let it be part of how things are done in the organization, so that when you reward on one hand and then you start to punish on the other hand, they will not take it personal. They will just know that this is the organization. Okay, so the fact that you are investing in staff care does not mean you cannot invest in staff discipline. It's like your children, right? I've mentioned you shouldn't treat your staff like your children, right? By shouting at them. But the relationship between you and your children, you take care of them, you also discipline them, right? As long as the rules are clear, just make sure that you're not doing anything arbitrarily, you're not doing anything randomly. The rules are set up front, the rules for welfare are set up front, the rules for discipline are set up front. So once people qualify for reward, they enjoy it. When people qualify for punishment, they enjoy it. All right? That's how you balance it.